Louisiana's finest. I say, who that? R.I.P. Tom Benson. Shout out to the whole Who That Nation. Now who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. Oh, who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. I got that fever, my people. See, we not equal, my people. I'm like that dog saint underneath the steeple, my people. Got Brees, he the feature, and our defense the sequel. The D-line and linebackers, man, they coming to reach ya. Make enemies unbelievers, cause we overachievers. DBs see 50-50 balls and we call them keepers. Y'all can follow this leader, cause Sean Payton will teach ya.
Saints Talk listeners, what's up? We back for another week. Man, that music just hit a little different, man.
It does, man. It does.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like I need to get up.
It just puts you in a good mood, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm here to record, bro. I don't know what it is. I can't even talk. Yo, Saints Talk listeners, what's up? We back for another week of Saints Talk. Excuse me. As always, I'm your host, Kevin Washington. I'm here with the man, Nick Underhill, the guy behind NewOrleans.Football. Make sure you guys go to sign up. You know, I don't want to badge you guys a lot, but we got the premium pods there. Those are popping off pretty good. People are enjoying those. Extra pod a week. Just go check it out, man. Go sign up. Tell somebody. And, yeah, man, be great. Nick, what's up?
Just looking at the schedule, man. Finally got a little bit of real football to look at. Look, man, I'm not even going to lie. Like, the preseason schedule had me more excited than anything because it was just like it's like a sign of normalcy.
Yeah.
Not having it last year, I kind of feel like hurt the evaluation a little bit. And
definitely.
Look, I definitely complain about preseason games in the past. Never again. I'm just thankful to have the preseason slate. Yes.
I'm about to it's gonna be overreaction season. Kickoff. Like I'm film watching the punts. What Morstead doing? Who are these kids? Like, I want to know everything, man. I'm just looking forward to just practice reports, if they even have those. Just anything, man. Just anything like football related. I'm looking forward to it. Fans in the stadium this year, that's got me like super excited. This past year has made me appreciate football in the way that I can honestly say, like, I didn't think I was taking it for granted, but maybe I was.
We were talking about this today. Some people, like, last year was fake. Like, the football season was fake. Life was fake. Everything was fake. Man. Like, it was not a real year. 2020 was not a real year. But, like, definitely it feels like the football season didn't happen. Like, there was a season, but it was just like,
yeah. Yeah, I feel you. So am I like 37 instead of 38? Can I take it that far?
I think you're like 39 now. I think it adds 2 to your age.
Man.
Yeah, at least all of us. We all took 2 last year.
That sucks, man. So we lost a year of our life, but we gained a year toward our age.
Yes.
Come on, 2020, be better.
Like 2020 borrowed off the future a little bit.
Yeah, get 2020 up out of here. Anybody else born in 2020, man, you guys gotta like make up to society. You gotta do something. Y'all gotta invent something that's gonna change the world, because y'all are starting off behind. Shout out to chat. What's up, chat, man? I see a lot of who that's in there. I see a lot of people hyped just to be chatting with us, and we're like more hyped to be with you guys, man. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk about the schedule. Schedule, it's got to be like more exciting than playoffs, man. I mean, come on, man. Like, like the anticipated schedule release. I'm being a little silly there, but yeah, we're gonna talk about it. You guys have probably seen the schedule. I got it up. I'm not gonna read it out, and I'm gonna let you guys know we're not gonna do predictions here, because it's not the time for that. But we're gonna break the schedule down. We're gonna talk about it, just kind of give our thoughts about it. And then, maybe get into some other topics. Or if you guys have questions, start thinking about them. And when we queue up the question segment, maybe we can answer a couple of questions at the end of the pod. So, yeah, you guys can start thinking about those and getting ready when the time is good. So, let's get this started. Nick, I'm going to tee it up to you, man. When you saw the schedule last week, what stood out?
So the schedule when it came out was the main thing that stood out. I guess maybe the main thing was just kind of the way it's set up right at the start. I think the first couple games of the season, week one obviously is going to be difficult with Green Bay, regardless of who's out there. But I feel like it kind of sets up well for them if they are to be without Marshon Lattimore for any period of time. You got the Packers, and then it's Carolina, the Patriots, the Giants. And it shouldn't be more than 4 games if it's any games at all, if there is a suspension. But hypothetically, I think you look at 4 because 4 is probably kind of like the worst case scenario. So you go out there, and it's the team that led the league in points week one. I think whatever happens there. But then after that, it's a lot of teams that were like 20 or lower in points scored last year. And, obviously, I think Carolina might be a little bit better with Sam Darnold than Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know that that's actually a given, but
don't you got to like practice red zone to beat the Saints in 2-minute drills? My bad. Let's go.
It's a young organization. Yeah, it's a young organization. Like it really is.
It's crazy though.
Joe Brady did an amazing job at LSU calling plays, but I think there's things that he's going to have to learn as an NFL coach, and hopefully he matures and matures is the wrong word, but learns and grows and fits into that job at the level that he needs to. But yeah, that was interesting to see. We're on a major aside right now, but it was interesting to see.
That's
Teddy,
crazy though. Yeah, go ahead.
To see Teddy Bridgewater kind of air them out, because I don't think that's really in Teddy's character either. And it wasn't even really like an airing out, but for Teddy, it's an airing out, like just because of the way he is, just saying like, hey, like they don't practice red zone, they don't practice 2-minute drill, and that's crazy.
That's crazy to me, man. Like I thought he was playing at first. I was like, what? Like, like the thing that determines when you win or lose a game. And I think, and tell me what you think about this. I mean, Teddy ain't the type to air anybody out, but like Carolina was like, they didn't show Teddy like no love this offseason. They've been trying to get rid of him and trade this dude. So like, I kind of feel like, at some point, man, the quiet, humble guy gonna bite back.
Yeah, they did him dirty inconsistently. And it's not even really, it's fine. You want to replace a guy, that's fine. It was just like, it was so loud and just so
right.
It was just too far out there. And, I'm not someone that looks at this stuff usually and goes, wow, that's messed up. Like, but the Teddy situation was like, wow, that's messed up, because it was just way, way too far out there. But going back to the point though, with the Lattimore thing, 4 games, if it sets up decently. Carolina should be better. The Patriots were on a major spending spree. The Giants, they got a young quarterback who could come into the zone. So all those teams might be a little bit better than they were last year, but I think it sets up really well for them. And then you go Washington by, and you're into the Seahawks game. On that front, you can get by. It allows your defense, which I think the last 3-4 years has been a really slow starter. 7 points per game allowed in September's dating back to 2018.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get through this stretch a little bit and, possibly end up in a decent position and be on track heading into the Seattle game. So that was the first thing that kind of stood out to me looking at it.
Okay. Yeah, I see the point that you made. I think that I agree with it, but I do look at it with maybe a little bit more skepticism in some ways, because I'm looking, Carolina has Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, the kid they drafted a couple of years ago. Green Bay obviously has Adams. The Patriots, they signed a bunch of tight ends, so I don't think maybe cornerback is like it's important in every game, but that's maybe one game where you don't have to have like a guy like Marshon. And then the Giants, they did sign the kid from Detroit this year, and so that's something to kind of keep an eye on. So I do think it's some potential for Marshon not to be available early in those games. It could hurt him, but I mean, you kind of killed my point. They just start slow anyway, right? And Marshon is probably, maybe he's part of that. So, maybe it hurts him, maybe it don't. I think it kind of can, it may put a little bit more pressure on the offensive side of the ball in some ways, specifically like the first game, right? That's the one that obviously stands out, if depending on who's paying the quarterback for the Packers. So, no, I agree with you for the most part that, the first stretch is going to be crucial for them. And I think it'll be crucial for this team as a whole, because like Drew's gone and you want to kind of start with some momentum, right? And I mean, I don't know, do you think that's important? Like, hey, Drew's gone. If he's, and they, they started the season with Drew and had losing records, obviously, but like with him gone, I don't know, the confidence, the Saints, here's a new era. Like, how do you feel about that whole talking point? Because I've heard some people mention it.
Well, first thing, just kind of on some of these teams having good receivers, they do, is I'm kind of banking on the quarterback play staying a little bit down and suppressed in different places. But look, if Sam Darnold's out there gunning, and then Carolina is a much tougher team. It's just I seem to have much less faith in Sam Darnold as a player than a lot of players, a lot of people, a lot of analysts. Like they kind of feel like getting him out of the Jets is going to be the thing that resurrects his career. And look, it very well might be. But as I think I said it here before, even like you can notice a good player in a bad situation. Like Sam Darnold didn't necessarily have a ton of great plays that made me feel like Jameis in Tampa Bay, like he had those plays where you're like, oh, all right, like and you saw it. And I don't know that you saw that as much with Sam Darnold there. So, but we'll see. Look, Joe Brady might really be as good as he was at LSU. Maybe last year was the outlier year, and he gets Darnold and it coalesces and Darnold blossoms like Joe Burrow did. Maybe that happens. I don't know. We'll find out. But
maybe.
Yeah, but I have much less faith in that happening than Sam Darnold just kind of being who Sam Darnold is. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that point.
And what was the question about Drew?
Oh, that was like last year. I have no idea what I asked you. No, just saying like if they get off to a slow start, the narrative becomes, oh, Drew's gone. Get used to losing. That's tongue twister. Yeah, get used to losing Saints. Even though they've started losing with Drew before, and they always come back. But like, do you think that kind of plays into like the team's maybe confidence or anything along those lines a little bit?
It definitely could. It could play into the quarterback's confidence too. Either one of them, they're both out to prove something, and they get off to a bad start. It's it could mess with their head a little bit. I don't think it will. I think both these guys know how to win, and I think Taysom especially is super confident in his abilities, and I think Jameis is too. Look, man, if Taysom wasn't confident, he wouldn't be where he's at right now. He wouldn't be, even just all the different stuff he can do on the field. Like the man has enough confidence to play tight end and then go play quarterback the next snap. So I don't know if that'll be a significant issue for either one of them, but yeah, it'll become a talking point definitely early in the season if they start off 1-3 or something like that, and the QB plays bad for sure. But I think if we're being honest, though, like missing 2020 Drew wasn't 2019 Drew, wasn't 2018 Drew, wasn't 2017 Drew. Like the Drew of the last three of the 4 years wasn't the guy that played last year. And I think that's something that needs to be kept in perspective. In some ways, I think they're going to be worse at quarterback. There's going to be more bad decisions. There's going to probably be more turnovers, and there's going to be a loss of leadership in some respects. But I also think they're going to be better than strictly speaking, 2020 quarterback. I think it's possible to be better and being able to move the ball, just period. I think it'll be a little bit easier. You can throw the ball down the field. Your offense opens up. I think there's going to be some things you can do that's going to elevate that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. But look, week one, like, you're going to find out a lot, because if that's a shootout and Jameis is back there and he's got to score 30 to keep up, you're going to find out a lot about his processing and really what he's been doing this offseason and how he's growing.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, just real quick to your point about Drew, like 2020 Drew is self-admittedly that he was a shell of himself. So, I mean, like, I just want people to make sure that they process that point correctly. Like the man played 2 games healthy. Yes.
Like 2020 Drew wasn't 2020 Drew. Like he just wasn't on the field like at all. Look, and the sad thing is too, is like he really looked good in camp. He did. And all the stuff we saw in the videos and we talked about it, made jokes about it, like him throwing down the field. He was throwing down the field in camp, but he didn't start the season healthy, never got healthy, hurt the foot, hurt the ribs, hurt the lungs, hurt everything. And he just never was. But that's the man retired, you know what I mean? Like for a reason.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to clear that up because I could just see like the tweets and people like coming at me. I'm like, yo. So shout out to Drew. In fact, like you said, I don't think 2020 Drew Brees was Drew Brees.
And he knows he wasn't. I'm kind of surprised that he even. I thought with the way his season, I thought with the way his season went, like there was a small piece of me like wondering if he'd come back for one more, honestly, because that's a tough way to go out. Like you're hurt, the whole experience is just awful. Man. Like there's nobody in the stadium. Like
that second Super Bowl was like right there for so many years, and like the last chance you have at it, injuries just like derail you. But I guess
I mean, just to make sure the point's very clear that we're making, like if Drew would come back and stayed healthy, like 2021 Drew would have been better than 2020. Like I think a lot of just
I think the last
being able to throw the ball down the field is going to make you better.
Right. And he's been hurt, and I guess this is kind of plays a part in it, right? He's kind of been injured the last 3 years at the end, right? I mean, for the the Atlanta game in 2000 and I think it was 18 or 19, I forget the years at this point. Yeah, every year he's ended up being hurt, right, for some reason or another. So I don't know if that comes with age. I mean, this guy was he was resilient as they come throughout his career, and toward the end, those injuries started to pile up. So, if I was him, I would have came back, because I wouldn't want to go out like that. I would have understood it. I wouldn't even blame him. I'd have been like, man, I think he's better than the guy I think he's a better quarterback than he played in 2020. And
absolutely. He was hurt. He didn't play. He wasn't able to play.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like he played, but he wasn't able to play like Drew. Like
exactly.
He just wasn't. Yeah.
And don't hold that. And I don't like y'all just don't hold that season against Drew. Drew, like it was nothing he could do. I mean, once you get hurt, man. And yeah. Anyway, just wanted to clear that up. Where were we? But
schedule.
Yeah.
We were talking about the schedule.
There we go. Well, I know it was like something specific. Anyway, I didn't want everybody to get like derailed by Drew, but yeah, we was talking about like if the team get derailed with him losing. So yeah, you were saying that you feel like the quarterback play could potentially be better, and so and one thing you said that I thought was interesting was we've heard Jameis talk this offseason about like making the right decisions every play, right, and that kind of balancing out that gunslinger mentality, and like you just said, man, if they get behind, like I want to know, like
they could be playing Blake Bortles week 1 though. Like for real. If there was one guy that's actually going to take this thing to the limit, like I don't think Russell Wilson ever was taking it to the limit. I don't think anybody, we would have seen with the Houston situation if all the other stuff haven't played out, but I don't think there's a lot of people that would actually take it to the limit. Aaron Rodgers kind of feels like a guy that would actually take it to the limit. Like he's just kind of has that personality where he's just Aaron's going to do what Aaron does, and
I don't really believe these quarterbacks. I kind of believe him.
Yeah, I'll still be surprised if he actually doesn't resolve the situation. But if there is one guy that's actually gonna, I'm gonna go host Jeopardy. Screw this. Like you trade me, or I'm going to host Jeopardy. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, he's gonna go date some celebrity or something, and he good. Good. He's made his dough. He's got a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame. Like, I could definitely see him doing something like that. And I mean, what do you think? Like, man, this is off subject, but
the whole podcast is off subject right now.
You guys rocking with us though. You guys rocking with us. People ain't started leaving yet. If you guys start leaving, then we're gonna get back to the Saints. But like, if you're an owner and your quarterback, who's the face of your franchise, right, who just won an MVP, is upset, and you got a general manager, for me, I at some point that becomes a little bit of a. I mean, I'm choosing quarterback. Let me just not even beat around the bush. The Packers. And this guy, like the Packers don't have an owner though, right? So I just wonder how much that dynamic. I forget who brought. I think someone made a point similar, like without them having an owner, like the relationship that you build with the players within the organization is just not the same. Like, because the owner's getting paid off this guy, right? Like he's filling up your seats, right? So I don't know, man. I think it's a good point. I think it's a good point because if I'm an owner, like I'm trying to keep the peace between everybody. Right. I want my GM happy. I want my quarterback happy, especially when you're Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know, man. I'm speculating here, but I just think I just wonder.
You can't really give a player that much power though, either. It's a bad precedent. It's a bad precedent to set though. Yeah, it is. It's a bad precedent to set though, because then You fire the GM for him now. He's more powerful than the coach. He's more powerful than everybody, and he knows it. And the locker room knows it. And it's a horrible situation to be in. I would not want to have to make the decisions and manage it. But I don't think you can fire the GM.
What if he got a point? What if the quarterback got a point though?
Yeah, I mean, that's have a really good point.
Yeah, what if he got a point? Like,
I mean, I think he does have a point. On the other end, I think the GM should be able to draft who he wants, and he doesn't have to tell the players who he's drafting on the same token. I mean, it'd probably be smart to be like, hey, Aaron, we might take this guy. Like, we're on the clock in 7 picks. Give him a call. Hey, if this dude's still here, we're going to take him. That probably would have been a smart thing to do. But at the same time, the GM doesn't answer to the quarterback. Quarterback's supposed to answer to the GM.
I agree. And if your quarterback is Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, then yeah. But when your quarterback,
I hear your point. I hear your point. Yeah,
yeah. And then you draft a guy like, I mean, man, this is off subject anyway. But
I'm not certain the Saints. I'm not certain the Saints would have told. Like Drew just happened to be there. Like he was out with his guys. They were hunting or whatever. Came in 2017. He's in the draft room. They're about to take Mahomes. They're like, oh, do we have to tell him? I don't know that they would have told Drew before they took Mahomes if he wasn't there. Like they might have, might not have.
Yeah, but I do know that it would have been handled differently. Right.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I don't
maybe
think Drew would have left. Now, Drew may have been competitive enough to say, all right, this kid isn't here to take my job, but I don't think it would have been like him.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to know who you're dealing with. And Drew probably would have taken it a different way than, you got to know who Aaron Rodgers is. And
he's a different cat, man. He's
anybody that watches football. Yeah, anybody that watches football like knows that if you explain the situation and you're like, should you call Aaron? Shouldn't you? Oh, yeah, you should call Aaron.
You should definitely call Aaron because he's just wired a little differently. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Point being that, Aaron, just take your time, bro. Week 2 is a great time to start playing football. So back to the schedule. So, what do you think is what's the tough stretch? Right, every year these schedules tend to. I'm pretty sure they design it like this, but it's always this tough stretch where we have this commentary to say, okay, if they can go 500 during this stretch, they'll be okay. When you look at the schedule, what's that stretch for you? Or maybe maybe it's more than one of them.
I don't know if there's really a stretch. I think there's a pair of games twice. I think there's 2 pairs of games. I think it's coming right out of the bye. You're going into Seattle, Monday night game, flying across the country, playing Tampa on Sunday. I think that's 2 tough teams, and then the schedule makes it difficult because flying out of Tampa out of Seattle on a Monday, you're losing 2 days basically, and then guys are coming in Wednesday. Do they feel good? It's tough. It's a tough travel week. Yeah, and then I think the other one is at Philly, and then Thanksgiving against Buffalo. And maybe the one saving grace here is that you're kind of preparing for a mobile quarterback against the Eagles, a guy that can stretch plays. Can air it out a little bit. You're gonna have to make quarterback making off script plays. Got to cover for a really long time. I think those same principles carry over to the Buffalo game. So maybe some of the things you do in coverage, you can just kind of have that coverage plan and take it over for Buffalo. I mean, I think Josh Allen's a little bit of a different beast than Jalen Hurts.
That dude right there, bro.
But I think it's the same thing though. You got to have your eyes on the quarterback. You got to cover for a really long time. Can't let him, get out and run. I think your rush plan against both guys is pretty similar. You want to keep them in the pocket. So that helps with that a little bit. But I mean, the Bills. I mean, look, man. If we're being realistic, they're and they might fall. But as things stand right now, I think you got to take them as a top 4 team,
4 or
in the
5,
NFL.
top 5, at least top 5. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, I mean they're a really good team, and things might change for them. Kind of, they got to learn how to deal with expectations instead of being the underdog, and that's kind of a real thing. So
that's true.
We'll see if they keep it together, but they should be a really good team, and
they got Emmanuel Sanders. Just saying, man.
They got Emmanuel Sanders
over the edge. Yeah. Okay. I kind of think that this is a cop-out answer, but I just look at the whole middle of the season. It's like every other week is like a tough game, right? You got Seattle, Tampa. Those are tough. Atlanta, I look at the Atlanta games and like this could be a year. I'm not predicting this, but I could see them splitting this year. I don't know. Just feels like it's possible, right? When you look at the schedule. And the schedule's on the screen for you guys that's watching live, so check it out. We got these really cool looking graphics. But shout out to Eddie, man. Eddie, thanks, bro. And then Tennessee. Tennessee's a tough game. right? That can just the way that they play football, that can be a tough game. This obviously. I want to see. I'm paying attention to the Saints' run defense this year with the loss of some guys up the middle. I think that's going to be something to watch. Philly running quarterback, then Buffalo and Dallas. Those are two tough games. You get the Jets, and then you got Tampa, right? And so I just look at that stretch, from the end of October to basically like the end of December. It's like a 2 month stretch where either back-to-back games are hard or every other game. So maybe it's a little bit of stretch. I'm taking year 2 and putting it together, right? But I think just like I look at Atlanta and I see Atlanta maybe potentially being a tough game, and then after that you're looking at the Jets and Philly, which they lost to Philly last year. But I don't think it's an unfair schedule. I think I don't look at this schedule and say, hey man, they're in trouble. I just see they gotta beat a few good teams here to kind of if they want to be a contending team there.
Let's talk about that run defense. Scale of 1 to 10.
Ooh, don't do this to me.
How worried are you about it? 1 to 10.
1 to 10, with 10 being terrified,
extremely worried,
and 1 being not worried.
Like Freddie's coming, yeah.
I'm more of a Candyman guy, 1 through 3 in the mirror.
1, 2, Freddie's coming, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we used to go in my house and like, yo, Candyman 3 times in the mirror, and like, yeah, that was
still here.
Crazy kids, yeah.
You're still here.
It might not be the same me. Yeah, I might have like got. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably say I'm in the middle, 5. And the negative being they lost, Malcolm Brown, right? Sheldon Rankins, I think they can recover from that. They lost.
Sheldon didn't really do much in the run defense, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, like losing him, it's not anything I'm not concerned about. Losing Malcolm Brown, like who got to step? Jashad Total have to step up. Who has to step up there? Are they going to sign a guy? But on the flip side, I got confidence in DA too, man. I just think that he's a smart coach, and the other part is run defense. As important as it is, you'd rather suck at that than maybe sucking pass defense. So it's a concern. I think it allowed them to be a really good defense last year because they was able to like do some really cool things on third down. So I know it's a priority for the team. So I'm mildly concerned about it, but I get the feeling that, nose tackles that's not an expensive position. They got a good defensive coordinator with a good scheme, and they may feel good about some guys in house. So, I can make the case for both. So I'll split it. What about you?
Yeah. So I think they're going to have better run defense at the linebacker level than they did last year. I think Pete Werner's going to be a better run defender than Quan, than Alex Anzalone. I think he's just more disciplined. Like Quan made some plays, and you're going to find a handful of plays that Quan made in the run game and the pass game everywhere that just nobody else on the team is going to be able to make. But if you really go through it, you're going to be able to find a lot of plays that he didn't make, that Alex Anzalone also didn't make, that I think Pete Werner will make. So I think you improve a little bit there. I do have concerns about, who is the nose tackle. Like you said, I don't think it's an expensive position to replace. They might have some internal options. Tuttle might be shot, or Malcolm Roach might be. I think that there's probably some possibility of having players at that position. I think Jalen Dalton's a DT2 who had a good camp last year. So they've done a good job of kind of finding those guys and plugging them in. And I've said this before, like they had a top 5 run defense with Tyler Davison at that position. So, it doesn't even necessarily have to be Malcolm Brown. And we'll see. Maybe even Onyemata is like, at a spot where he can maybe play the nose and early downs. And
him and Rankins played. They played dual DT with both of those guys and played the run well. So you bring up a good point there.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. And if it is a 5 on the overall scale of like concerns, if your run defense is, let's say, average, I mean that's not the worst thing in the world, right? I mean,
right.
You'd rather like you just said, like if you got to choose between an average pass defense and an average run defense, you're taking
a run every time.
Yeah. Average run defense is fine. Like you just don't want to be giving up 5 yards of carry. Yeah. If they're best in the league, and again, there was a whole stretch of not allowing a 100-yard rusher or whatever. Like a lot of times, teams aren't able to even run the ball enough to get a 100-yard rusher. It's just that's not the way the game's going. So, as long as they're average at run defense, I think they're okay. The big concern is obviously it's the pass defense, and we don't know what that's going to be. And
that's true. pass rush and corner. I mean, there's some questions, and I mean, I'm just looking at. It's not a lot of like nose tackle type guys available. I mean, Damon Harrison. He in his prime, he was like the best to do it.
Are there even really known nose tackles anymore? Like it's kind of the superstar nose tackle though is kind of like a thing of a bygone era. Like Vince Wilforks, like you used to know who all these guys were.
Yeah,
I don't know that like the average person could name 12 nose tackles.
I don't know if I can name 12.
Yeah, it'd be hard. Because it's
I'm average, by the way. Don't trip.
It's three tacks. It's defensive ends. I mean, those guys just aren't. And a lot of teams don't play a 3-4 anymore either. So, like the big space eater.
Who's the last great nose tackle in your opinion?
Is a run stuffer or a pass rusher?
Nose tackle. Call him what you want.
Well, because Animata last year had the most sacks from the nose tackle position in the last 10 years, except for Larry.
He's a three tech though. He's a three.
Yeah,
tech, really.
Man, they played a lot of 3-man line though, and he played on the nose, and he had a lot of sacks from there. Like the guy from the Browns, Oja, whatever.
Oja, yeah, I can't.
He was the only guy that had more sacks over the last 10 years, and he had 3 of those, I think, against the Saints the season he did it.
So, that doesn't count. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, got Ruiz down there giving out freebies and Pete.
But Hall of Fame level, probably Wilfork. I think Wilfork's probably the last
dominant beast. Yeah. I think I'd go Haloti Ngata.
Yeah, that's a little more recent. Yeah.
The great nose tackle. But since him, you haven't really had, because Ngata could get after the passer too, on the low. He was one of those guys. But just you bring up a good point, right? And maybe they don't have to sign it. And I think, like you said, Onyemata is someone that you could play at the nose. Maybe not exclusively, but
right.
If you are
situationally,
if you don't know if it's a run or a pass, then he's someone that you feel comfortable there. And then, you could bring in, I'm looking at the guys at Kawan Short, Geno Atkins, I don't know, Damon Harrison. Those are the 3 guys that stand out. I was just looking at the list of, best remaining defensive players available. So, I don't think they can, maybe they stay in-house. And I would understand that too. A couple of years ago, they got the kid. What's the one they signed? Man, he had a long last name. Nose tackle, undrafted free agent. I'm gonna think of his name. He went to another team, but they got him, and he was effective.
Traded to the Browns, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going blank. So I mean, that seems to be a position where you can kind of maybe manufacture or put some guys in there, because you don't have to do a lot in that position, right? You play these 2 gaps. You stop the run if it's a pass, and you try to shrink the pocket. So,
all right, let me get your take on another thing that I kind of caught some heat from some people. I wrote today
Is it Pete Werner?
No. I wrote today that I said if everything goes right for the Saints, meaning Adebo becomes a really solid number 2 corner and Jameis plays up to his potential.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I said that I think they could have more talent than Tampa.
So define everything goes right.
Jameis is, he's a good quarterback. He's what you think he can be. 18 interceptions, 30 touchdowns, 4,400 yards, and the cornerbacks. He's good. He's not someone you're like, man, they need another cornerback. You're satisfied with him as the number 2 cornerback.
18 is a lot though, kind of, right? Or is it? I don't know.
I think it's a reasonable level. For him,
Okay. All right. Okay. So Jameis is all right. Keep going. What are the other?
That's it. And then it's just everything else is as it is. Mike Thomas is Mike Thomas. Traquan's fine as the number 2. Alvin's has another good season. The guys on defense, they play well. Cam and they have a little bit better pass rush. Just nothing outrageous. Just the only really the only 2 things hinging on anything are CB2 is satisfied. It's a solid position, and Jameis is not Peyton Manning good, but he's good. He's good. It's the best reasonable outcome from this situation.
Okay. All right. And Taylor Stallworth, shout out to Eddie in chat.
The
defensive tackle. Thanks, Eddie. So I think that I don't know if I would go that far. I don't think it's an outrageous statement though. By
I
no
think they were
means.
better than Tampa last year with a beaten up quarterback.
I think if Drew was healthy, then they would have.
Yeah.
I think But here's what I think. So the rookie has to come in and play better than Janoris Jenkins, which maybe they felt a certain way about Jenkins. I thought he was a good cornerback.
I
thought
think
he was good
that
for
we
him.
maybe talked too glowingly of him. Then I think he was good, but I think that there's a thought process that maybe makes him a little bit better than he actually was here.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that.
I think the same thing happens with Malcolm Brown, but I mean that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, and I get where it's coming from. I get where it's coming from, and I think it's coming from a place of like intellectual thinking, thinking objectively about these topics. But I do think
he was a fine number two. He was a fine number two.
Yeah, he was a good player for this team, and that's that's what
he had coverage busts and everything, just like everybody else in the deal. Like he was a fine number two. Yes,
yeah, he absolutely, and he sometimes
too many penalties.
That's a good point. Ball get over his head, and at points he was the best corner on the team, maybe.
Yeah,
but then at points like the ball get over his head and he gets lost, right? So you absolutely right. But he has the rookie has to come in and be better than him, which I think that's a stretch.
It probably is.
I don't think Warner's going to come in and be better than Quan. I think you probably disagree with me on that.
It depends on what aspects. I think you got to look at the overall picture, and
I think Quan. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Look, and I'm guy number one talking about like how his explosiveness, changed the defense and everything. But I do think that there's elements of his game and the visual attractiveness of it and that explosiveness and all that allows you to forgive a lot, and it allows you to overlook a lot. When a guy's hitting home runs, you aren't looking at the strikeouts, but there were a lot of strikeouts. And if Pete Werner comes in and he's just getting on base, over and over and over, to carry on the baseball analogy, at some point that outweighs, the boomer bust. And Quan was a very boomer bust player on a snap to stop basis. So
okay.
I don't know. Like, there's a chance that you could become a more sound defense with a more sound linebacker.
Absolutely. I agree. No, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. Like, if he comes in and he's very consistent down to down and he's hitting singles and doubles and maybe the occasional triple without the strikeouts.
Yeah.
That's good. That's an upgrade, right? I have to, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the rookie cornerback has to come in and be good. The rookie linebacker has to be good. The rookie defensive end has to come in and be better than Trey. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm just thinking no one's out producing Trey, but I think, I do think it is a collective whole that it's possible that they have the same pass rush across the board, and I don't think that's necessarily Turner hitting 13 or Davenport hitting 13 or even Cam hitting 13. But
you're right.
I think if you took all the sacks from the ends together, added them up, and you divide it, like, I think it's possible to get.
I stand corrected. Yeah. You're absolutely right. He doesn't have to do it by himself, but if Davenport has to step his play up, Cam has to kind of have a bounce back year. Maybe Granderson steps into his own a little bit more, and then you get some meaningful snaps from the rookie, right? Which, we'll see. I think it's possible. I just think a lot of things has to happen, and everything has to, like, Jameis got to be good. You got your Troutman has to take a huge step, right? Your Traquan, Jawan, Mark Callaway, Deontay Harris, these guys have to take a step up. Your rookies have to produce. So if those things check out, yeah, I think it's possible. And Tampa teams don't usually, they're not. I mean, Tampa didn't win. Tampa was losing to the Giants at some point last year. Like, they wasn't Tampa the whole time, right? So, but I don't know if they'll be better. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think they're going to be a lot better on offense than they were last year, and I think they might be a little bit less good on defense. I mean, there is a lot of players that left on defense. There are. I mean, it's Quan, Anzalone, Trey, Janoris,
Mario
Brown. Sheldon Rankins. It's 6 guys out that played a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just kind of like gloss over it. Like, I think there is some attrition, and then there's attrition in the depth as well. I mean, but I think if you look at it, there's ways that they can maintain. But also, like, some of these guys are going to start getting older too. Like, Cam is an older player. Demario Davis is an older player. At some point, that stuff might set in. Yeah. But I think, offensively, it's very easy to forget that Mike Thomas, he's coming back. He'll be healthy. He isn't going to have all this weird stuff going on. I think he's going to have a good season. Like, you're adding a top 3-4 wide receiver in the NFL to your offense, basically.
Can I just say something real quick too? Just real quick. like we was talking about Drew's last season. Like he didn't have his best whipping that he's ever had, by the way. Just want to put that out there too. Move on. Just go ahead. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be better on offense, and I think they're going to be a little bit less good on defense. We'll see how it all levels out. But I do think there's a scenario where if like all these things we're talking about, and look, it's very optimistic to think that everything we're talking about, that Pete Werner is going to work, that the pass rush is going to be leveled where it was, that CB2 is going to work out fine, that Jameis is going to be, that adequate version without the mistakes. And I wasn't even setting the bar that high on the mistakes, but like if he's 30 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 4,500 yards, that's a really good season. I said it at 18, but I don't know. I just kind of look at it like they beat him twice last year. They should have beat him a third time.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. I mean, in Tampa, I mean, here's what I'll say. Right. Here's what I'll say. I think that. Listen, to win
I feel like I'm underrating Tampa, and I don't want to be like the guy that does that.
No, Tampa's a good team, right? You know that. We've spoken about that privately. I mean, we know that. I think that, a lot of things have to go right for you to win a Super Bowl. Like Tampa they were healthy the whole year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's ridiculous, right? So the Saints were very unhealthy, and the Tampa was relatively healthy, right? And they still like kind of they almost swept them, So yeah, I could see a scenario where certain things go right for the Saints, and Tampa has a regular injury plague season like most teams have, and and their quarterback throws 3 interceptions in the first half, and his defense saves them against the MVP. it was a lot of luck, right? That's the Super Bowl takes luck. I mean, the Saints lucked up Brett Favre throwing some crazy interceptions, right? It takes luck to win the Super Bowl, but I think if certain things transpire, then I could see them being like competitive with Tampa and splitting the season series with them or something along those lines. But like I said, I think there's some things that have to go the Saints win against the Bucs.
I also might be placing too much weight on how Tampa's offense looked in the playoffs. Like it was hard. Offense was very hard for them in every game. Like there's a lot of interceptions, a lot of mistakes. It was hard for them to move the ball. But I mean, that's playoff football too. And like things get hard in the playoffs. So I might be placing too much on that, but I don't know. We'll see. They could be, they could very easily be a better team than they were last year, just simply for the fact that they have a year in this system and the quarterback settled in. Everybody knows how to talk to each other. I don't know. That's
the way I'm kind of leaning.
97 years old, and you look at his age and you're like, well, it's got to slow down. It's got to slow down.
He's not though. He's like his arm was like.
He looked like he was slowing down in New England though, like he did in. I think having everybody around him helped. Like, there's still things about his game that you can see, but he compensates for it. So
yeah,
I talked all last year about how the dude was getting older and whatever, but they figured it out late in the year.
I was bashing on Gronk, and he was running like 2 miles an hour getting open. I was like, y'all just don't want to come with this dude. He's not open. He's still catching it though.
Yeah, that's how he is. I told you that though. Like if he could just post up, he'll get the ball. That's all he has to do.
Slug, bro. He's just like, he's not even like trying to get off the line of scrimmage. He's just going in a straight line like old school Taysom. But I just think that I lean toward like them maybe like figuring it out a little bit more, like second year together and whatnot. But these injuries and things happen, man. So I mean, a lot of teams are not that lucky with injuries. I mean, I think Vita Vea was like the only major injury they had, right? The Saints lost their 2 top players. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think they can be competitive with Tampa, but I think Tampa has a more talented team. And I think they probably will be more talented, this season, but we'll see how that plays out. Do you think that this is not a prediction? Because we're not doing predictions, but like, what's the likelihood, or what scenarios do you see the Saints having a winning season? Do you think a winning season is expected? Like, we don't have to be a prediction to see if it's a winning season or not, right? You can't tie anymore. That's not going to happen. So, like, what do you think the cases for them? In fact, let me change the question. Make a case for them having a winning season, and make a case for them not having a winning season. I'd be interested to hear that.
They can't. You gotta have an actual tie game to have a tied record now. So you could go 8. Well, I guess would that even be? Yeah.
Is that a
so
tie?
It'd be a wash. Yeah. It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yeah, and on the prediction, sign up for the site. We're gonna have a prediction show, premium podcast later in the week. We have a premium podcast. We're gonna try to do one, I think, every week.
Yeah, man.
There might be. Yeah.
We are going to do one every week. We're definitely going to try really hard to get that done for you guys.
Yeah. So if you're listening, sign up, get those. If you're watching live right now, sign up. We'll shout you out. But yeah, we're gonna have more of those, and then you get everything on the website, all the exclusive analysis and stories and stuff that we do. So sign up, do it, support the show, help us out. We'll keep doing more. And
yep.
We'll post game shows on the.
We
premium.
love doing this, man. We love doing this. I'm telling you.
So winning season, I think it is expected. I think if they don't have a winning season, it should be considered a disappointment. They did a lot to keep the core of this team together. The core of the team carried them to 12 wins last year with the extremely injured quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think if all the quarterback really has to do, he's got to play on a healthy-ish team, and he's just got to allow the pieces around him to usher him to a winning record. Now, does that get you to a Super Bowl? No, it doesn't. Like at some point, your quarterback has to elevate the team, and I think at least one of them can do that. Jameis, I think he has the ability to do that if those things do go right. So, I do believe that if they. And it's completely insane that this is the way we're talking about this team after Hall of Fame quarterback retires and the replacement is basically
making $1 million a year.
It's a gamble. It's a guy on a it's a gamble either way with either quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how good the rest of the roster is. And I think even if Jameis was in there, or I'm sorry, even if Taysom ends up being the quarterback, my expectation would still be a winning record. It still would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you should still beat the Carolinas, the Washingtons, the Jets, the Giants. Miami's a sneaky tough game.
That's a weird game, man.
The Eagles, but I still think Atlanta at least once. I think you should at least have 9 wins. And I think the bar should be a little bit higher than that. On a losing record, I mean, I think you're talking injuries and the quarterbacks are just one's fumbling, one's throwing interceptions. That's how you end up with the losing record. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think the players on this team are too good, but that's how it would happen.
Which one is fumbling? Which one is throwing interceptions? One does both.
Yeah.
No. But in all seriousness, I was just looking at the record as you was talking. I think I just came up with my prediction, and I could see where you're coming from. I think if Jameis plays well, they have a winning season. I just think it's that simple. I think if he struggles, then I think it's like you're looking at. I don't think they're going to tank, and I don't think they're going to get into that 4-win or 5-win season. It'll probably be more like a 6 or 7-win season, like worst case scenario or something along those lines. But I don't think they're going to be like a bad team. But I can see a scenario where they regress back to the middle of the pack. I don't think it's likely, but I can make a case for it, right? I mean, what's going on in the second corner? Traquan Smith doesn't work out. The tight end position is weird. The interior O-line, there's a few different areas where if they don't work out, they can kind of struggle. But I don't know if that's going to be the case.
See, I think the struggle season will be like 8-9 wins. I think that's where if the quarterbacks play bad, I think that's where you struggle too. I think it would be hard.
You think that's the floor, 8-9 wins?
I think it would be hard just with this core of players to get you'd really have to be overlooking Mike Thomas and Alvin. Like even if things are bad, you have 2 amazing. You have the greatest check down in the NFL. Dude took so many checkdowns last year that he had everyone talking about him as the offensive player of the year, and he probably would have won it if Drew hadn't gotten hurt. And it was on checkdowns.
Yeah,
it was on checkdowns.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him today, like the Saints in general, and I was like, man, they got Kamara. they got this guy.
I don't know if people realize how crazy it was, literally on checkdowns. He wasn't running routes out of the slot. He wasn't going down the field. Yeah. It was legit just I can't throw the ball, so here you go. And
Alvin.
Yeah.
What was up with that? They didn't use him as much like that this year.
Because
I don't know. Maybe my eyes are lying to me, but I was like, where he's not. I mean, he's lined up with Mike when Mike was in the slot and he was outside at times, but I didn't see as many of those routes this year from him.
Because he had to be there as the
safety valve.
net. Yeah, you can't have him running routes because now who are you checking down to? You just couldn't do it. You had to stay basically, running the little choice route or like straight up just kind of popping out of the backfield for the quick little check down. 1, 2, whoops, there it goes. And that's just kind of how they had to play. And that was kind of the overcompensation for Drew's injuries, is that you basically, like, if Drew couldn't throw the ball right away, I had to go to Alvin. And if Alvin's out of the slot, you're in trouble. So that was it. I mean, it was outrageous. And man, he was taking them. Like, he was taking them. He was taking them to victories. And I swear, if Taysom hadn't gotten hurt, like, the dude would have won Offensive Player of the Year on checkdowns, because, like, just his ability after the catch.
Yeah. We're gonna put Taysom in that role this year. We're gonna replace theoretical Taysom with check down Taysom. All right. I got a couple more questions for you. You guys got any good questions in chat? Get them ready. I got 2 questions for you. 1, how much are you struggling with adding this extra game to records?
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough.
Weird, bro.
You got to think about it a lot. Yeah, no, the math is just weird.
Yeah,
I was doing my thing today. I was like, man, like, I gotta add another loss to this. Yeah,
11-5, 10-6. None of that no more, bro. It's like, I'm thrown off. Like, my numbers are like way off. I've had 18 games and 16 games. I haven't hit 17 yet. So, all right. Serious question. Do you think the bye week is too early? How do you, with the extra 17 game season, do you feel like the NFL as a whole maybe should have pushed them down and adjust the scheduling a little bit? I don't know. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and on 17, like, my prediction for the season's a little bit.
Don't do it.
Yeah, it's why it's on the website right now. It's already out there. But yeah, I mean, it's look, I mean, everything that we said on this, like, I might look real dumb at the end of the year, like, honestly, but I honestly believe that, like, with the throws down the field, like, it's gonna help. I really do think so. The bye in the season, I do think it's too early. I do. You'd like that to be pushed back a little bit. I do think on one hand, though, it sets up decently, because if they do have those slow starts on defense and you just kind of get through that early stretch. Last year they hit the bye, they came out, they were a different team. Having that before Seattle isn't the worst thing. And then with the Bills game going into the Cowboys game, I think that helps too, because you kind of get that little bit of a mini bye towards the end of the season. But I mean, I think ideally you'd like it to be just a little bit later in the season. Just because it is 17 games and you do have, a couple older players on both sides of the ball, actually. So, I mean, 2 weeks later, I think would be, the perfect spot. But, you do kind of get the mini bye. But I think it's a little bit early.
Yeah, I'm with you. I complain about it every year, like, the bye week is early. Well, when it is early, and then they just win 12 or 13 games every year. So we'll see. So, all right, chat. You guys got any questions? We're gonna give you guys. We're gonna open up the floor for questions. If you guys don't have any, then we're gonna wish you guys a very healthy and beneficial, productive week. All right, which rookie do you guys see having the greatest impact in year 1? All right, Nick, I already know your answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's Pete. I think Pete's gonna have the greatest impact. I do.
Pete,
I do.
Mayor Pete.
He's the most ready. He's the most ready guy on the team. I think, honestly, like, I think that he's the one that can play right away without much learning curve. He's sound.
He's all that. Yeah, that's the. If I had to bet, that's the answer that I would probably give, just because.
Oh, you're coming around.
Well, I listened to Ireland and Sean Payton talk about the guy, and man, they love him. And they know more football than I do.
I don't carry any weight.
Bro, you carry all the weight. You the boss, bro. Like,
I'm kind of mad right now because we spent a whole day fighting about this guy, and now you're telling me that you're in.
Hey man, listen, nobody wins when the family feud. I can cuss you out in private, public, man. No, I don't know how to. I'm still like kind of torn between this guy. I don't love his tape. I don't think I ever will, right? But I can see a scenario with this team at the position where they need him, where he will have the biggest impact as a rookie. Like who's the other linebacker, man? Right? Think about the other positions. Like
he's got the easiest path. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why that's what makes me say him like.
Like P-Rob might start at cornerback. Like
exactly.
that might be your week one starter. I think they got to sign. Yes. Man, I think they're gonna sign Ken Crawley back. I do. I think they got to add him back to the team just for added depth. You got to look for somebody else too, even beyond that. I think.
1 second.
But
hey man,
I mean, if he's
I'm joking around, but
if he's behind P-Rob, behind the rookie, it's not the worst. It's not the worst sign, especially with early in the year. If you are going to be without Marshawn, like I think you just have to have him.
I'm just going back to the dark days. I was just thinking about like Brandon Browner. I was just
Crawley was good. Crawley was good in 17 though.
He had that 1 year, bro, but like
17, yeah, he was good in 17.
Oh, I thought he was CB2. I was like, wow, found him.
Yeah,
found him. And where Eli Apple at? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. If he is the veteran that they signed in, yeah, that's just gonna be a little concerning. I'll be honest with you. I will come in here and I'll be a little worried if P-Rob is the guy. I'll give you the linebacker because I think he has the easiest path to starting, and he is a smart guy who's going to come in and probably might be the Mike linebacker year 2 or something. So I'm with you. All right, next question from Byron. How quickly do you think we will make the call at quarterback? Seems like as Jameis is winning, they'll want to give Tay some time to get back to his other positions. Oh, I got a good answer for that one. Nick, you first.
I think they got to ride with whoever it is for a while. I think you got to give them time. You pick someone, you kind of got to go with them. And I think whoever you pick, you probably got to give them. I think you got to let them go until the bye. Honestly, like if you start with Jameis, I think you got to give him those 5 games and just kind of see how it goes. You go with Taysom, same thing.
Yeah.
You can't have a situation where the player in that position is afraid to throw an interception.
Right.
And
right.
They got to feel like it's their team, and you got to allow everybody to kind of buy into them. So I think they'll have a pretty long leash, and if it goes bad, it goes bad. I mean, you got to give them time to figure it out. So I would say probably 5 games, and then if it's not what you want it to be at that point, maybe you reevaluate.
Yeah. My prediction on this one is Jameis will come into camp leading the position, which I already think he kind of has the head on, and I don't think he's going to relinquish it. I think he's probably going to. There'll be some point where he's getting most of the starter snaps, and then Taysom Hill will be with the tight ends or something.
Yeah. Oh, how quickly do you think? Oh, you're saying in camp? I didn't even answer the question. So, yeah. Look, sorry,
hey,
I started
answer what you want to answer, man.
Yeah.
You're the boss.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna say, hey, Nick, you didn't answer the question.
I do think that you need to. It's interesting because it's 2 different offenses, and at some point you kind of gotta roll with one or the other. And I say that to an extent. Like a lot of the passing concepts are still going to be the same, but if you're going with Taysom, like you got to start installing all kinds of different stuff, and you can't have it be what it was last year, where you don't have all the running stuff, and everything kind of has to fit together. You're painting a different picture with your play calling and your packages and all that.
Yeah,
and I think that you do need to make that call kind of quick, but I don't know. I agree with you. I think Jameis comes in, and at some point you're rolling with it, and
yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. But
like someone told him something. Jameis, you the starter. Some under the table deal. All right, Nick, I'm gonna throw some quick fire questions at you, and we're gonna wrap this podcast up. I have no comment on the next 3 questions. Do you believe in Deontay Harris at wide receiver? Do you think he emerges?
I believe in him and his specific role. Every down, I don't know about that yet. I think he still has something to prove there, but I do believe in him in kind of the role that he's had, the snaps that he was getting later in the year. I know there were a handful of games where they wanted to get him more involved. Vegas was supposed to be one of them. But again, I mean, it was just kind of the way they were playing offense. I don't think that we've seen everything he can do. So
yeah,
yes, I believe in him. Do I believe in him like to the fullest extent? I got to see it. I got to see a little more, but I think he can't run a lot of routes, and I think he's going to be better in this offense with either quarterback, however it looks.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about to ruin the rapid fire round and give my opinion on that one. I don't think he's going to be a volume guy, but I do think for the specific role that he'll be in, he can stretch the field and stuff like that. Players like that are important, even if they're not volume guys. Think how important like a Deshaun Jackson can be to your offense, even though he may not catch 100 balls or whatever, but what he does to the safety and the cornerbacks, those things like it's going to be easier for Jameis Winston to play quarterback with a guy that can stretch the field like that. All right, rapid fire round. Keep going. Question from Ben. He says over/under Turner 5.5 sacks.
I'll probably go under.
Yeah, I'll let you answer that and say my. Ben asked me that question after training camp. Yeah, I get to like not answer. Nick doesn't have that right. All right, question from Jassy. He says AK-41 top 10 wide receiver if he only lines up at wide receiver. It's a good question. Top 10?
Probably not top 10, but I think he could be a really good slot receiver. I do. I think if that's all he did is played slot receiver, yeah, I think he'd be great at it. Just get him the ball, let him do his thing. You know.
Yeah. Waste of talent because he's good at everything almost. But yeah, I'm with you. Next question. Yeah. How big of an improvement do you see Cesar Ruiz making this year? And I'll add another little point to how important is it? That's
I think it's very important. I can't answer this question. I don't know. I have no idea, but I think it's very important.
Him being good is probably more important than any one of these rookies they drafted this.
Critical.
Yeah.
Critical.
That's the biggest improvement. That's who needs to show up. Forget Werner, Adebo, Turner. Like this guy needs to have a better year. Things
need to be as easy as possible for both these quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm totally with you on that one.
Even though I feel like both of them can avoid the rush probably a little bit better than it was last year, but just let it be easy on them. Let them make their reads.
Yep. Let me see. Looking through the
interior pressure in your face, like you don't want that for either one of these guys.
Game over. And for the final question of the night, who is winning the punter battle? Hey guys,
there were a handful that they liked. That the guy from Syracuse wasn't the only one. There were a handful of guys that they liked, so they were really out there looking. So I don't know what that says about Blake Gillikin, if it says anything at all. I mean, maybe you just want to create competition. Yeah. I know last year coming off the field, very first practice, I thought Blake was making the team. I thought he was going to be.
You text me. You was like, "Yo, this punter." Yeah, you text me. Yeah. You was like, "Yo, this." I was like, "Wait, what?" And you was like, "No, trust me. Good call, man."
So yeah, I mean, we'll see though. I mean, you bring him in, it's going to be a decent battle.
Yeah.
I don't know how to handicap that at this point. I don't. But
I was gonna make that the last question, but my guy John, he just posted a question that's just too good. What SPF level are you wearing for camp this year?
So I go on Amazon. I get the banana boat, the spray on. I don't like to like rub it on. The spray on is just a little bit easier. It's cleaner, and you know whatever the highest SPF number I see, sometimes. You know, it's very very high digits. Like 30 ain't enough. Like, you know, if I can get higher than that, I'll go higher than 30.
You got to go higher than 30, bro. So have you ever used a whole bottle of SPF in one summer? No. Next question.
I mean, I lose them a lot. So
yeah, but you don't use it. You don't use the SPF. You buy it and it just sits in your house.
I don't use it as much as I should. No.
Yeah. Last question. I keep saying this. When does training camp start for you? Because you know what, you got your walks coming up in the heat. Like when do you?
Yeah, honestly, I've been you know trying to stand more, get out and walk. Like, look, I lost my standing legs during the pandemic because you're just like not out walking around at work, hanging out, like you know, standing like you just be standing like just places out in public. And man. We were at the golf tournament. We were at dessert. Yeah, it's just like 2 holes, and I'm just like, man, like I'm not like I'm tired. It hurts to stand. Like it was just too much. It was too much. So I'm starting to gear up and try to get like my post-pandemic legs back.
You got to get going, man, because you know.
Yeah, I've been bowling a lot, so you know I've been standing there. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just
hammer.
It was like very easy to. And that's something that you don't like realize, but it's very ezy to like just not stand. Yeah, when you aren't going anywhere.
You see that desk right there?
Yeah.
So I have stopped sitting down during the workday. I do not sit down ever. Only time I sit down is like after work, recording a pod or something. So get your little stand-upness. Make it good.
Yeah, it's shameful though. Well, I mean, the bulldog requires me to be there, like lay on me all day. So I don't know if she'd let me get away with standing.
She might be the reason why you might not make it to camp. She's gonna break that ankle running around.
We just start chilling on the couch, man.
Lap dog, man. She has no idea. She has no idea how big she is. She thinks she's my size. Oh man. All right, guys. So letting you guys know, I'm gonna post a NewOrleans.Football workout, picking the workout. I mean, a workout in the NewOrleans.Football shirt. So, like Nick hired me to be the shirt model. Got some requests for that, so we're gonna make that happen. So yeah, we're gonna do a little online store, and I'm gonna just have on all the shirts. So this is.
All right, I got a question for you. You saw the picture of Pete.
Wait, who?
Who sent us the picture? It was Pete, wasn't it? Someone sent us a picture. They were killing the medium shirt like 3 times bigger than you.
Oh no, I didn't get that.
Yeah, you got it. It was in the DMs. We were making jokes.
Oh yeah, Pete ATX. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, yeah. Okay. No, he kind of looked better in that shirt than me.
Yeah. Did you feel threatened?
I went to the gym. As soon as I saw that shirt.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get a side by side. I'm gonna show the pictures on the next
wait a minute. Don't do that. Let's talk about this. I have not signed off on this. Like, no, if you notice, I think that same day I posted my video.
Oh no, I saw what you did. Yeah, no, you felt threatened. You felt threatened.
Post a pic, Pete. Come on, Pete. Nah, he looked good, man. He looked good. I was like, I need to go to the gym. Pete, shout out to Pete, man. Just quit working out. Let me do my thing. That's my bag. Just let me have that, man. You could do something else. Let me have the shirt guy. So, all right, guys, we are way off the rails here, but that's how we roll, man. Thank you guys for joining us live. Make sure you guys go to NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Pick a tier, a bunch of different options there for you. Pick whatever one works best for you. There's a few of them there. You can also, as we were just joking about, you can get you a shirt there. You can give someone a sub. Whatever you need, man. It's all there on the site. Premium members. If you're a member of NewOrleans.Football, there's a members only pod. So you guys be on the lookout for that. We're going to do some predictions there later this week. If you guys have any recommendations, anything you guys want us to talk about specifically on this pod or the members only pod, DM in, let me know. Check it out. There's a site on the article. Nick wrote, he spoke with the route guide, and he did an interview with him, with the guy who does, does the videos with Winston. So guys, make sure you check that out. Some schedule stuff on the website right now. Pretty much everything that's going on in Saints land is covered there. So just go there, check it out, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, give someone a sub for their birthday. I promise you they'll love it. And yeah, we appreciate it, man. So thanks everyone for joining us live. Thank you guys for supporting us. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We out.